The German composer Robert Schumann, probably as much as anyone, maybe more than others, exemplifies the Romantic musical era. I've used Chopin, I've played Chopin and Brahms from that same era in the 19th century. And the piece I'll play today is one that's perhaps most closely associated with both Robert Schumann and the Romantic era, and one of the most often heard, which is Traumerei, I believe is how it's pronounced, or Dreaming, from his collection of 13 pieces, Scenes from Childhood. And that collection was inspired by his wife Clara, who was in her own right a great virtuoso of the period and also a composer. And she commented once that he seemed at times more like a child. And so he created this set of pieces, Scenes from a Childhood. Schumann himself went mad in the end, and long before that, he exhibited instability. He alternated episodes of greater productivity with periods of Great Depression. And he was a man who was very moody by all accounts, highly volatile. His emergent mental instability increased gradually over time. His physical health deteriorated as well. Could be other causes in the mix there. It wasn't exactly clear, but in the end, he attempted to commit suicide by throwing himself in the Rhine River. And he died 2 years later in a sanatorium at the age of 46. He did have a great influence during the 19th century, the first half of the 19th century, not only as a composer, but as a musical critic. He was effectively an influencer of the period, an important one. He brought to public attention the talents of both Chopin and Brahms. Just for that, he probably should be remembered. And he championed their work throughout his life. He and his wife, for that matter, she would often play their works in her concerts. Now I'll use a passage from a discussion that I came across of him and his work, as it describes really his musical influence rather succinctly, I think, better than I could. And that is, he is, as one of the leading voices during the transition from the classical era to the Romantic era, he displayed all that would be to come, unabashed sentiment and longing, lush melodies, incomplete thoughts, fleeting fragments, and the desire to turn away from the age of reason toward the fleeting whims and fantasies of the individual. And this is visible in the preference of vignettes over expansive discourse, the fascination with multiple identities, the loosening of rhythmic restrictions, and the harmonic freedom that comes with dissonance, and the memory of lost love everywhere. And it's worth noting that Schumann, unlike others during the Romantic era, had no real desire to smash what had come before. There certainly was a camp of the Romantic era that did indeed want to smash and burn everything that had happened before. But Schumann didn't. And he was rather wanted to move forward into new frontiers without really forgetting the past. He wanted to build on it. And he was actually a conservative voice of the period rather than a radical one. Now, at times, Schumann literally assumed different identities as stand-ins for his own moods, and even giving them different names and claiming credit for musical compositions in their name. Some were extroverted, while others were reflective. His music equally exhibits multiple identities at work. One of his famous works is Carnival, and he has a parade of different characters, all dressed up, pretending to be what they are not. Now, some have tried to use that as an indication of his own impending madness. For Schumann, I think flights of fancy and multiple identities were never really a problem, at least when he was stable. For Schumann, our minds and ourselves are enigmatic and never totally understood or reduced to certainty, even in ourselves, even for ourselves. And we are all not of one mind, and perhaps nothing could be more honest or personal than the revelation of all the personas that go on in a single person. Now we have Robert Schumann, Opus 15, And this is actually the seventh piece in that cycle, Dreaming.